Okay, adrenal gland is working strongly. Okay, and let's get started. So my name's Chauncey Wilson. I work at Autodesk as a principal user researcher. And today I'm going to give a whole variety of methods for looking at data, analyzing data, and looking at design decisions. So I'm actually ahead at this moment. So one of the things that we've experimented with is crowdsourcing for data. We put out questions on blogs. We've asked users to define scenarios. We've also asked for artifacts, and we've had really good response, sometimes hundreds of items. We also see some of the debates that go on in the field. We've also started experimenting a bit with crowdsourcing for analysis. You may send an hour transcript out or a set of notes and send them out to colleagues and ask them to spend 1 to 2 hours and list the 5 major themes they saw, so we try to simplify it. Now, one of the complaints that people have is like, I have to go out and get this data, but there's existing data. There are bug reports, there are trip reports, there are probably hidden reports from earlier people, and sometimes politics makes it difficult, but look around. Now, one of the interesting things I think that I've found is we sometimes ignore our technical support people and some of the internal folks. So one thing you could do is have pizza and beer, which is very important, and go interview your support colleagues and say, what are the 5 things where people complain they don't know how to do this? Now, here's a little method that I love, brainwriting. You have a half an hour, you're around a table, and you want to get some ideas from maybe your internal team. So you have people write ideas for a minute and then pass them to the person next to you, keep that going, and you can get lots of good ideas. And so, claims analysis. Analyzing design decisions. Claims analysis looks at the consequences of a design decision based on different stakeholders. So you can see we have a visual representation at the bottom. You can find out what developers like, and I better move on quickly. The word pinup. I walked into Autodesk and they said, we're going to look at pinups, and I thought, I can't do that, it's against the rules. And so pinups are very quick, flexible decisions. Now, here's an interesting one that I've had a lot of fun with. Ben Schneiderman suggested user interface races, I don't know, about 20 years ago in an edited book by Brenda Laurel. And the thought is, get experts. Internal, you might bring external people in with strong egos. You give them a difficult task and say, go, ready, set, go. And you have observers, maybe cheering sessions. And you look at what things come out of that. We did a little method in my tutorial the other day called Yes and, an improv method. And we might go around and say, I'd like to build an electronic restaurant and I want to include robots. And you say yes and we get requirements as we go. A little method that's kind of different. We have a novice and we have an expert, and we ask the expert to introduce a system, and then we have the novice ask questions. The questions are the data. This is a little technique, and if you get new people in, you can use it. Now here's something mysterious, the magic thing. So I actually have a magic wand that I've used in the past, and I ask people to walk around like I did some of my students in the tutorial with a pen, being the magic thing, and ideate as they're going and use that as a prop. Now, something that a colleague and I of Autodesk have done, we've developed a set of tags that we can use across many sources of data, and we can quickly tag data, at least for a rough level of quick analysis, and then go deeper. Another little technique, and this is a little visualization, but you're going to change something and you bring in a group and you look, what are the positive and negative forces that will impact that change? And sort of just maybe even drawing out sort of a rough sketch like the one you see here is a way to visualize things. Little thing, and I'll attribute this to colleagues from many years ago at Digital Equipment, insight sheets. Kind of if you have an insight from something, give some examples, write down some design ideas. So this could be as you're doing analysis of data and looking around. A reflective diary is something I've sort of done when I entered the company. I'd write down notes, and at the end of a week, I'd reflect on things. What are some of the thoughts I have other than just my individual entries? Because you start to see patterns. Here's a little technique that came out of social psychology. It has kind of a crazy name, concept interviews, but the gist of it is, get about 20 sheets of paper. When you introduce people, ask them to write one item about the system, their positive and negative experiences, and then just collect them up and have them prioritize them. Okay, so a critical thing in our work to get supported is to have a public relations group and brainstorm ideas. So maybe you have a metaphor brainstorming session and you look at, how do we sell cars? How do we sell other things? How do we sell magazines? Well, we did this, and one of the things you see here is that we built a PR wall where we put examples of our work in the field, such as what I'm doing today. In the middle, we have before and after shots showing things like, wow, we reduced this process from 17 steps to 5. And we had before an example showing the one on the left is maybe not so good at design from the perspective of aesthetics and layout and consistency, but there's a be after. Very powerful, simple ways to show people what you're doing. Whew, that's the best I've done. So, okay. I'm supposed to leave you with a thought that we shouldn't do quick and dirty, that we should do quick and clean, and I'm sneaking that in as I'm unplugging myself, sorry. Okay.